Your soulmate's family is talking about you. Here's why. There are conversations that happen because someone is curious. Then there are conversations that happen because a person's presence is quietly changing lives before they have even walked through the front door. This is one of those stories. Somewhere, far from where you are now, a family has gathered around a dinner table. It looks like any ordinary evening. Plates are being passed from one hand to another. Someone laughs at an old memory. A younger sibling scrolls endlessly through their phone while pretending to listen. But tonight, something is different. Your name has entered the conversation. Not because of gossip. Not because of drama. Because someone cannot stop talking about you. Your soulmate has tried to keep their feelings private. They promised themselves they would wait until everything felt certain. They didn't want expectations from anyone else. Yet emotions have a strange habit of escaping through the smallest cracks. Their smile has changed. Their silence has changed. The way they look out the window has changed. Families notice these things long before words are spoken. Their mother was the first. She looked across the table and asked softly, "Who are you thinking about?" The question seemed harmless. Your soulmate almost laughed. No one. But parents often hear the truth hidden behind the shortest answers. She smiled gently. I haven't seen that expression in years. No one understood what she meant. Until later that night. After dinner was finished, dishes washed, and everyone settled into the living room, the conversation somehow circled back again. It always returned to the same subject. You. Not your face. Not your job. Not your appearance. But the feeling that your soulmate carried whenever your name quietly crossed their heart. Their father rarely interrupted family discussions. He preferred listening. Observing. Tonight he finally asked, "Is this person bringing peace into your life?" The room became silent. That wasn't the question anyone expected. Your soulmate didn't answer immediately. Instead, they smiled. It wasn't a loud smile. It wasn't dramatic. It was calm. The kind of smile someone wears after surviving years of emotional storms. That answer told everyone everything. Their grandmother, sitting quietly beside the window, nodded without saying a single word. Sometimes older hearts recognize love before younger hearts understand it. She whispered almost to herself. Peace is difficult to fake. Nobody argued. Because everyone could see it. Over the following days, your soulmate's family began noticing little details. Songs played more often. Morning routines became brighter. There was less complaining. More hope. More patience. Someone who had spent years carrying invisible weight suddenly seemed lighter. Naturally. Questions followed. What is this person's dream? What kind of family do they have? Have they been treated kindly in life? Do they believe in lasting love? Every answer made the room quieter. Not because anyone was disappointed. Because they realized your story wasn't simple. It carried struggles. Disappointments. Moments where you wondered whether anyone would truly understand your heart. Your soulmate didn't speak about your pain with pity. They spoke with admiration. They're stronger than they realize. Those 5 words echoed through the room. Stronger than they realize. The father leaned back in his chair. I respect people who survive without becoming bitter. Again. Silence. The conversation wasn't about perfection. It was about character. Your soulmate wasn't describing someone flawless. They were describing someone genuine. Someone who still believed kindness mattered. Someone who kept helping others even after experiencing heartbreak. Someone who still smiled despite carrying unanswered questions. That impressed everyone. Later that evening, after everyone had gone to bed, the mother quietly knocked on your soulmate's bedroom door. She entered holding 2 cups of tea. No speeches. No lectures. She simply sat beside them. After a few peaceful moments she asked, "Does this person make you feel like you can be yourself?" Your soulmate looked down at the warm cup resting between their hands. Then answered honestly. "For the first time. I don't feel like I have to pretend." Those words reached deeper than anyone expected. Because pretending is exhausting. Many people spend years becoming versions of themselves they think others will accept. Finding someone who welcomes your authentic self is rare. Their mother smiled with tears quietly gathering in her eyes. I've prayed for that. She wasn't praying for perfection. She was praying for peace. The following weekend brought another family gathering. Aunts, uncles, cousins, children running through hallways. Conversations overlapping each other. Someone eventually noticed your soulmate smiling at a message on their phone. Immediately the teasing began. Who's making you smile? Your soulmate laughed. No one. The family laughed louder. They knew better. Within minutes. Everyone wanted details. Not because they wished to invade privacy. Because genuine happiness spreads curiosity. Your soulmate carefully protected your personal life. They never revealed secrets. Never exaggerated stories. Instead they described simple moments. How you cared about people. How you listened. How you remembered little things others forgot. Unexpectedly. Those ordinary details impressed everyone far more than dramatic stories ever could. One cousin quietly admitted, "I hope I meet someone like that someday." Another simply nodded. The conversation had become bigger than romance. It had become hope. Hope that sincere love still existed somewhere. Before everyone left that evening, the grandmother gently held your soulmate's hand. Her voice had grown softer with age. But every word carried weight. Don't rush something beautiful. Those words stayed with your soulmate long after everyone had gone home. Because beautiful things rarely need to be forced. They grow. Patiently. Quietly. Like sunrise appearing without asking permission from the night. Meanwhile, you knew none of this. You continued living your everyday life. Working. Learning. laughing when you could, questioning yourself when life became difficult, completely unaware that somewhere, a family you've never met had already begun imagining the day they might finally welcome you. Not because of status. Not because of money. Not because of appearances. Because your heart had already made an impression through someone who genuinely cared about you. Sometimes, before two lives officially meet, entire families begin preparing room in their hearts. And perhaps, without realizing it, that preparation has already begun. The conversation should have ended that night. Everyone had gone home. The lights in the house were dim, and the familiar sounds of the evening settled into silence. Yet your soulmate couldn't stop thinking about everything that had been said. For the first time in a long while, they felt that they weren't carrying their feelings alone. The next morning, their younger sister walked into the kitchen while your soulmate was making coffee. She leaned against the counter with a playful smile. "So, are we going to meet this mysterious person someday?" Your soulmate laughed softly. "Maybe. That's not an answer." "I know." She crossed her arms and studied them for a moment. "You've changed." "What do you mean?" "You don't complain as much anymore. You seem calmer. Even when life gets stressful, you don't lose your patience like you used to." Your soulmate paused. It wasn't something they had noticed. But she was right. Somehow, simply believing that someone like you existed had begun changing the way they faced each day. Later that afternoon, their father invited them for a walk. The neighborhood was quiet, with a gentle breeze moving through the trees. For several minutes, neither of them spoke. Finally, his father asked, "Do you trust this person?" The question wasn't about romance. It was about character. Your soulmate answered honestly. "I do." "Why?" "They've never tried to impress me. They've never pretended to be perfect. They admit their mistakes, they care about people, and they always try to do what's right, even when it's difficult." Their father smiled. "Those are the qualities that last." He stopped walking for a moment and looked toward the sky. "Looks fade. Money comes and goes. Success changes. But character. Character is what carries a relationship through life's hardest seasons." Those words stayed with your soulmate. That evening, another unexpected conversation began. Their grandmother was sorting through old family photographs. She invited your soulmate to sit beside her. One by one, she pointed to faded pictures of weddings, birthdays, and family gatherings from decades ago. "Do you know what all these happy memories have in common?" she asked. Your soulmate shook their head. "They were built by people who chose each other every single day." She gently placed the photographs back into their box. "Love isn't one magical moment. It's thousands of ordinary moments shared with extraordinary commitment." Your soulmate quietly imagined you hearing those words. Somewhere deep inside, they hoped you believed the same. Days passed. The family noticed something else. Whenever your name came up, your soulmate never talked about what they wanted to receive from you. Instead, they always spoke about what they hoped to give. Support. Loyalty. understanding, patience, kindness. Their mother noticed this immediately. One evening she said, "You've never once mentioned what this person could do for you." Your soulmate smiled. "I don't want to keep score." That answer filled the room with quiet admiration. Because real affection isn't measured by transactions. It's measured by the willingness to stand beside someone through every season of life. Meanwhile, the rest of the family had become unexpectedly curious. An aunt wondered if you enjoyed reading. An uncle asked what kind of dreams you had. A cousin joked about whether you would survive the family's loud holiday dinners. Everyone laughed. Little by little, you became part of conversations without even being present. Not as a stranger, but as someone they hoped would one day become familiar. One rainy afternoon, your soulmate received a simple message from you. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't romantic. It was just a thoughtful check-in, asking how their day was going. They smiled without realizing it. Their mother noticed immediately. Was that them? Your soulmate nodded. What did they say? They just wanted to know if I was okay. She smiled warmly. Never underestimate people who remember to ask simple questions. That evening, she quietly whispered to herself. They have a caring heart. As the weeks continued, your soulmate's family stopped asking whether you were the one. Instead, they began asking different questions. When do you think we'll meet them? What food do they like? What makes them laugh? What are their dreams? Without anyone realizing it, the conversation had shifted. You were no longer an idea. You had become someone they were already making room for in their hearts. One night, before going to sleep, your soulmate stood by their bedroom window. The city lights shimmered in the distance. They remembered every conversation their family had shared about you. None of those conversations had been about perfection. They had been about kindness. About honesty. About hope. About building a future that rested on trust instead of appearances. For the first time in years, your soulmate allowed themselves to imagine introducing you to the people they loved most. It wasn't the thought of a perfect life that made them smile. It was the possibility of an ordinary life filled with extraordinary people. And somewhere beyond the horizon, completely unaware of these heartfelt conversations, you continued living your own story. You had no idea that every day, your name was becoming more familiar inside a home you had never entered. And with every conversation, one quiet truth became clearer. Sometimes a family begins loving the idea of someone long before they ever shake that person's hand. The conversations about you continued, but they became different. They were no longer filled with curiosity alone. They were filled with respect. One Sunday afternoon, the entire family gathered for lunch. The house buzzed with laughter, stories, and the comforting sounds of people who had known one another for years. As everyone settled around the table, one relative smiled and asked your soulmate. So, this person, are you sure they're worth waiting for? The room grew quiet. It wasn't an unkind question, but it was an honest one. Your soulmate didn't answer immediately. Instead, they looked around the table at the people they loved most. Then they spoke calmly. I've met many people who know how to impress others. But very few know how to make people feel safe. This person does. Those words caught everyone's attention. Another relative added. But nobody is perfect. Your soulmate nodded. I know. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for someone whose heart remains kind, even after life has given them reasons to become cold. Silence filled the room. No one argued. Because deep down, everyone understood exactly what they meant. Later that day, while helping clean the dishes, your soulmate's aunt quietly asked, "What makes this person different?" Your soulmate smiled. They don't try to be someone they're not. They don't chase attention. They care deeply about the people around them, even when no one notices. Their aunt laughed softly. Those are the people who often become the strongest partners. That evening, something unexpected happened. A distant relative made a quick assumption about you without knowing your story. Before anyone else could respond, your soulmate gently interrupted. Please don't judge someone you've never met. The room became still. There was no anger in their voice. Only quiet conviction. They've faced challenges you don't know about. They've worked hard, stayed kind, and kept moving forward. They deserve to be understood before they're judged. No one spoke for several moments. Then your soulmate's father smiled proudly. Later, after everyone had left, he placed a hand on your soulmate's shoulder. When someone is willing to defend another person's character when they're not even in the room, he said, that says a great deal about both people. Those words stayed with your soulmate long after the evening ended. Over the next few weeks, your name continued to appear in small conversations. Not because anyone was obsessed. Because your soulmate had unknowingly painted a picture of someone who valued honesty, loyalty, compassion, and quiet strength. Their younger brother joked. I feel like I already know this person. Their grandmother smiled. Sometimes hearts recognize each other before families meet. One rainy evening, your soulmate sat alone, thinking about everything that had happened. They realized something important. Their family wasn't simply talking about you anymore. They were preparing themselves for the possibility that one day, you might become part of their lives. That thought didn't create pressure. It created gratitude. Your soulmate whispered quietly to themselves. I hope they know how appreciated they already are. At that very moment, somewhere far away, you continued living your own life, unaware that your name had become a symbol of hope inside a home you had never visited. The story was only beginning. Because soon, the conversations would become even more personal, and one family member would reveal a heartfelt reason they believed your arrival had been meant to happen all along. As the days turned into weeks, something subtle began to change inside the family home. Your name no longer appeared only during dinner conversations. It appeared in quiet moments. While folding laundry. During long car rides. Over morning coffee. Even while looking through old family photo albums. It was as if everyone had become curious about someone they had never met, yet somehow already respected. One evening, your soulmate found their grandmother sitting on the porch, wrapped in a warm blanket as the sun slowly disappeared behind the horizon. She motioned for them to sit beside her. For several minutes, they simply listened to the evening breeze. Then, without looking away from the sky, she spoke. "When I was young," she said softly, "I thought love was about excitement." She smiled. "But after many years, I learned something much more important. Your soulmate waited patiently. Real love brings peace." The word settled into the silence. "It doesn't remove every problem," she continued. "It simply gives you someone who makes life's burdens feel lighter. Your soulmate thought of you immediately. Not because every moment between you would be perfect, but because whenever your name came to mind, hope replaced fear." Their grandmother noticed the smile on their face. "I see that look," she whispered. "It's the same look your grandfather used to give me." Your soulmate felt their eyes grow warm. Later that night, another conversation unfolded. Their mother had been organizing a box of old letters. Inside were handwritten notes exchanged between family members decades ago. She carefully unfolded one of them and smiled. "Your grandparents wrote to each other every week before they were married." Your soulmate looked surprised. "So many letters?" She nodded. "They believe that honest words build strong foundations." She looked directly at your soulmate. "If this person is truly special, never stop communicating honestly with them." Those words became a quiet promise. The following weekend, the family gathered again for a celebration. Children laughed in the backyard. Music floated through the house. Conversations filled every room. At one point, an older uncle asked your soulmate, "So tell me, what do you admire most about this person?" Without hesitation, the answer came. "They make me want to become a better version of myself." The room fell silent. No one expected such a simple answer to carry so much meaning. Their uncle smiled. "Then never take that gift for granted." As the evening continued, your soulmate noticed something unexpected. No one was asking about your appearance. No one asked about money. No one cared about status. Every question was about your character. Were you kind? Were you honest? Did you keep your promises? Did you care about people? Those were the things that mattered. Later that night, after everyone had gone home, your soulmate's younger sister knocked on their bedroom door. She held out a small notebook. "I've been writing something," she admitted. Curious, your soulmate opened it. Inside was a list. It wasn't a list of expectations. It was a list of hopes. "I hope they laugh with us. I hope they feel safe here. I hope they know they'll always have a place at our table." Your soulmate looked up in surprise. "You wrote this?" She nodded shyly. "If you're this happy because of them,